Hello internet world, welcome to my tiny little sliver of a YouTube corner floating out there in interweb world. I'm Brittany, and the reason I'm filming this video, talking awkwardly into a camera in my empty living room, I kind of just wanted to go over my story and my experience switching over to an e-cigarette or a personal vaporizer. I was a smoker for at least a solid 13 to 14 years of my life. I loved smoking. I loved everything about smoking. The initial light up of the cigarette just was so satisfying. And I never really gave much thought to quitting smoking. I mean, I thought about it, but it was just something I never cared to stop doing. It got me outside for a few minutes of quiet time, kind of got me away from the day-to-day mundane crap to just step away and have a minute. No one asked any questions. About a month and a half ago, my aunt was visiting from out of state, and she came to town. Obviously, she was visiting. Her husband smokes, my uncle. Probably a moderate pack-a-day smoker, I would say. She had this really kind of nifty looking device that was very similar to this. Wasn't colored or anything, but it just looked kind of neat. So we got to talking about it. Now, before she described to me what it was she was using, I've heard of electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes or disposable cigarettes. I kind of just had the mentality that you only bought e-cigarettes at a gas station. They were disposable. They were kind of expensive, $8 to $10 for one, and as soon as either the battery died or the juice dried up out of it, that was it. You threw it away. And I was a pack-a-day smoker, so I could go spend $6.50 on a pack of cigarettes for the day, or I could try out a new device. I wasn't sure if I'd like it for $8 and hope that it would last me all day. So that was kind of that just left a bad taste in my mouth trying to learn about the e-cigarette. And back to my aunt, I did not realize that there was a whole nother world out there of options to meet personal needs. So after she got talking to me about the, it's an Ego style battery she had, which, forgot my charger. Basically, the battery just has a thread on it, and it threads onto the charger, which you plug in and charge, and then you screw it onto your tank, and you're good to go. Nobody had really sat down the way she did and discussed it with me. You know, from the battery to the tank to the coils and the wick to the juice that you could buy. So it piqued my interest. And probably, about 3 or 4 days after she went home, I was talking to my husband about it, and I thought it was something that I would be very interested to try. Not necessarily to have a nifty new toy to play with, although that was kind of appealing too, just have a neat little gadget around. But I thought it would really be worth a go. You know, I have 2 children that live with us. They're our children, age 3 and age 7 months. And I always smoked outside because I didn't want them exposed to that. But of course with cigarettes, you know, you smoke and everything clings to your clothes, your hair, and it wafts in through the windows. So I thought this would be a nice alternative to switch over to the e-cig without buying stupid crappy disposables. So went to a shop and I did a lot of online research, watched a lot of YouTube videos, kind of read up on some things after my aunt had kind of introduced me into this new device I'd never heard of. So I knew what I wanted going into the e-cig store. So I told the guy flat out, you know, I quit smoking. I had my last cigarette on my way over here, and this is kind of what I'm looking for. So he introduced me to the Evod 2 starter kit. Basically, I didn't save the box, and I forgot to bring my charger, but if you've watched one kind of Evod type video on YouTube, you've probably seen multiples. Basically, the box came with 2 of these. So you've got your battery that untwists, as I showed you a little bit ago. You've got your fire button right here. Is it on? Yeah, it lights up whenever you're firing. You just charge this, and it came with two, so that the idea, I think, is to charge a battery while you're using a battery, so then you always have a battery in rotation. Came with this tank, the just standard Evod tank. It's got plastic on the inside, and then it has like the removable, they call it a drip tip, just the removable mouthpiece. So once you screw this all together, this is what your total unit looks like. The starter kit came with two of these identical. Obviously, I know these two are not identical, but I had some problems. So basically, we were so excited. With the starter kit was two of these, the charger, I think 5 replacement coils, etc., etc. The shop I went to gave you a free 30 ml bottle of juice with your starter kit. So we came home, 60 mils of juice, yay, let's get started. Couple days into it, the very next day after purchasing it, sorry about my retarded dog, I noticed that there was, as I was kind of inspecting my second tank to fill up with a secondary flavor, I noticed that there was what appeared to be a crack in my tank that I had not yet used. This was my second tank. I was getting ready to try out the second tank for the first time. There appeared just a little tiny crack right here in this window. So yeah, a little frustrated. Went to the shop the very next day, explained to him, hey, this looks like this has a crack in it. I don't know if it was just shipped that way, but what can you do? So he, sweet guy, very informative, got me started, no problems. He just swapped me out. Actually, he let me keep the crack tank, and he just gave me a replacement tank. Exact same thing, just silver instead of the purple. Didn't cost me anything. He just said, here, take this. I'm sorry about that. Okay, cool. So, yeah, not everything goes according to plan. Sometimes there's ups and downs. I can totally get behind that. So I wasn't going to give up. Probably about a week to a week and a half later, I noticed that the first tank, not the one that he had just swapped out for me, but my first tank kind of looked the same. It was starting to get a minor looking crack on it, and where I could see through the windows was a little foggy looking. Just seemed a little unnatural to me. So did some research on different shops around where I live. So I thought I would go check out a new shop and see if somebody had an explanation for what I was going through. I mean, I wasn't ready to throw in the towel. You know, I'd committed. We'd spent the money on all of this. So anyway, I went to this other shop, and it was explained to me that the standard Evod tanks have a plastic lining in them, a plastic tank, and you can only see the tank through the small little window. He had told me that there's an Evod Glass version, and you could put any kind of juice in it you want, because basically cinnamons and really, not strong, but citrus flavors and cinnamons tend to crack the plastic tanks. So, I said, okay, fine, why don't you just sell me an Evod Glass tank? No big deal. I'll just buy a $10 tank and I'm good to go. So, was working on the silver replacement tank, which seemed fine, and then he sold me the pink Evod Glass. Actually, it came with just a standard drip tip, standard stainless steel drip tip as well. Just the pink tank. I thought, oh, pink and purple, it's kind of girly, I can get behind that. I have not had a single issue with the Evod Glass. Love the Evod Glass. So, after using it, I figured, heck, I might as well just upgrade both of my tanks to the Evod Glass. I don't have to worry about what kind of juice or anything I put in them. This video is kind of going off of the whole point I wanted it to. Now I'm just giving like a breakdown of everything I own thus far. So, I have since purchased a green tank to go on my purple battery from the starter kit. So now, my two setups. I've got these different color drip tip on this one, which I swap out. Drip tips to me aren't a big deal. Basically, through the ups and downs in and outs of learning about all this. And keep in mind, I just started using these 5 weeks ago. In 5 weeks, I've already learned the ins and outs of all of these. I've had to buy replacement coils because I go through that like one coil a week, one coil a week, one coil a week. So there's 2 coils in 1 week that I go through. Learned about juices, kind of attempted to make my own juice here and there. So I'm kind of learning a lot as the process goes. Meanwhile, I have not thought about a cigarette in 5 weeks. Well, that's not entirely true. I did have an instance where a friend came over to visit me who is a smoker, and we went out back, let the kids kind of play, and she lit a cigarette for herself. The smell it put off to me was heavenly. It smelled so appealing, so I had to just ask, can I have a drag of your cigarette? So I took a drag. Took another drag. And I am not kidding you. Since I first started smoking 13, 14 years ago, not once has a cigarette tasted so disgusting to me. I mean, I love cigarettes. I never thought I would quit smoking cigarettes. And this cigarette that I tasted was foul. The smell of it was good and inviting. But once I broke down and said, okay, give me a drag or two, it was pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting. So for the remainder of the day that she was here, I just, you know, had my vaporizers, and that's what I did. She had her cigarettes. We were all happy. I did try and convert her. I don't think it worked, but I'm not giving up. So basically, this is just a video of me rambling and rambling and rambling and talking about my experience. So what's next for me? Well, I could stick with these, which people buy these and they stick with them and that's good, or they use these for a short period of time and then they don't need them anymore and they're done. I love this thing. I love this thing so much, in fact, that I want more. This is very quickly becoming a hobbyist lifestyle for me, not just a, oh, I quit smoking, I'll use this for a few months, sayonara E-Cig. This I see to be step one in a greater collector's lifestyle. I freaking love it. I'm so excited to try many more juices. I actually ordered my first mod. Ooh, mod. I know about mods. I know about variable voltage, variable wattage, and ohms. And I'm kind of educating myself a little bit on rebuildable drip atomizers, RDAs. Wow, look at me. So this is, like I said, just kind of my first video introducing myself to the vaping community. That's kind of all I have for today. I might come back and do a follow-up once the new mod comes, and just kind of get a feel for how I think that compares to something like this. And that's kind of it. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll probably see you next time. Bye!